think it's gone. Hi, I think I see the light there. It's just gone off. And if I seem rather casual, it's because, frankly, I'm exhausted. We've been trying to get this thing going now. Well, you know, we did a show some time ago, and now I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. And one thing I've noticed, some of my crew has left because I had other things to do. And I'm kind of fried, you know, looking at these intensely bright lights. I don't know if you can tell how hard this is on me. But one thing I have to say is that my guest has been so patient through this whole thing. You know, she's been actually trying to help the rest of us who are trying to survive this ordeal with our equipment failures and everything. And the point I'm trying to make is that my guest has had 3 near-death experiences. She was on my last show in which I said glowing things about her. She's one of the original researchers of the near-death phenomenon. She has the largest known research base of adult children and adults in the world. And she's written 7 books. She's been on Larry King, Geraldo, Regis Lee, and in Entertainment Tonight. Now she's here with me, and that is really an incredible honor, especially so since she's been so patient through all of this. There's been not a trace of any irritation, and I think this speaks volumes about who she is. I'm really honored to present P.M.H. Atwater.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello,
We meet again.
hello.
Wait, let me get myself together here.
There you
Hi.
go.
You've weathered this case with remarkable ease. That's all you need to say. Okay. Now, on the last show, we talked about many things. We talked about your near-death experience. And for the people who didn't see the last show, it might be a good idea to tell us briefly what the near-death experience is and what effect it has on people that changes their life.
The near-death experience, as near as we can tell, is a very lucid, coherent sense and reality and experience of full consciousness, full faculties, and in fact full life on the other side of death. So it seems to happen even in cases of fear death, when a person thinks they're going to die and it looks like, wow, this is it, but they don't. Those cases where a person does indeed physically die and are later resuscitated or revive. So it seems to happen the most often on that edge of death, or even beyond that edge of death. So that's the near-death experience. Near-death meaning that they do come back, but it does involve edge that we call death, and the sense of an afterlife, the sense that life goes on. What happens afterward? Well, by golly, not all of them are changed completely, but most of them experience a transformation of their life. There are physiological after effects as well as psychological after effects. It seems to change brain function, chemistry, structure. It certainly has a tremendous effect on the nervous system, the digestive system, and the skin. Very definitive after effects that do occur that change or alter to some degree the physical body. Most people are familiar with the psychological after effects, no longer fearing death, becoming more comfortable, more loving, more open. Most people, though, aren't that familiar with the fact that afterward, especially immediately afterward, an experiencer can go through long periods of confusion or depression. What do you do with it? I mean, you return to life from a very hyper-lucid state, and you're looking around at the earth world, family, hospital, acting, and somehow it looks dull. Somehow it looks not quite right. It's like where you were, you recognize as home, where you need to be, want to be, dream of being, and suddenly you're there, and not only it seems somehow to be even above and beyond anything you could imagine or dream, and you come back to this world and it's you know, it's like the color is gone.
But you know, you're kind of an example of what could happen, because as I was, you know, explaining to the people watching, I am fried and you are full of energy.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Well, that's over time. I'm just speaking of immediately afterward.
Uh-huh.
And I think people need to remember that the near-death experience is not just a list of elements that appear in some kind of scenario. Mm-hmm. That the near-death experience is far more complicated and robust than that. Mm-hmm. We can have simple experiences that may be one element, maybe two or three, max. That's it. That's all. And yet they display the full component of after effects afterward. They can have hellish or unpleasant experiences, frightening experiences. They can have heavenly or comfortable or loving experiences. They can have transcendent experiences that seem to break all the rules. They wind up in some kind of heavenly college, or hop a light ray and tour the universe.
And you found
lots of different ones.
And you found that are children's near-death experiences different from adults?
They have the same kind of experience in that sense of range. But most of the kids, 76% in my research base was 277, 76% of them had what I would call that initial experience, where one or two, maybe three things happen, something like encountering the friendly darkness, or a very comfortable nothingness, or maybe a quick body experience, or having a greeter of some kind, or hearing a voice, and that's it. I mean, that's all there is.
You know what I find interesting? I don't know if you wrote it or someone else wrote it, but children don't have the cultural basis with which to interpret. You know, an adult could say, well, I met God or angels or a particular deity or whatever, and children don't have that, that cultural influence. So when they speak, they're speaking from...
They're speaking from their reality, their truth, all that they know.
They're not trying to convince anybody of anything.
No. They're just talking about what's there. It's like most of the children when they come back. They still see the dead, they still see disincarnates, they still see bright ones or angels or beings that they met on the other side, continue to manifest, continue to be part of their lives. Let's say, for instance, a child dies on the operating table in a hospital, has a near-death experience, is back in their room. They will see all of the people that died in that hospital room or walking down the halls, and they'll comment on it to their nurse. Who are these people walking by?